every 20 minutes. It's your statewide Alabama Weathercast.
Hi, I'm meteorologist Drew McCombs with the Alabama Weather Network, and this is your mid-morning statewide forecast. And we're recording this right around 9:20 or so, but we still have a dense fog advisory in place until 10 a.m. across kind of the northern half of the state. So everywhere you see here in the gray is where there's a dense fog advisory in place. Now, a lot of those places have started to clear up at this point, but there still are some patches of dense fog in spots this morning. So if you're out driving right now and you run into some of that, please take it easy and slow down because it can come up on you pretty quickly. Looking at some visible satellite imagery earlier this morning, this is where you can really see, especially kind of in the Tennessee Valley and some of the streams coming into the Tennessee River, where some of that white right there that's not moving a whole lot, that is actually the fog in place this morning. And then it's starting to mix out as we get later in the day as the sun is coming out and allowing the mixing of the air to get rid of some of that fog. But looking at the sky cams, earlier this morning, these showed quite a bit of fog. Huntsville, in fact, looking off the top of Monte Sano, down here in the valley, it was just socked in with fog. You couldn't even really see the ground down here. But we started to see that mix out in Huntsville, visibility improving. You still have a low cloud deck here, but definitely not nearly as much in the way of fog as we get into the rest of the morning. Cherokee, however, still got a good bit of fairly dense fog in place. So again, there are some patches still out there where you will potentially encounter some fog. As we go further to the south, though, nice blue skies in Abbeville. Temperatures already at 80 degrees and really hard to find any clouds out there. So again, we're starting a little bit warmer and expecting to continue that trend as we get into the rest of the day today. Spanish Fort looking beautiful out there as well. Blue skies, temperatures already in the mid 80s, dew points in the upper 70s. And but again, typical situation down there for as far as that's concerned, but it's looking really nice to start off. And looking across the state as far as the radar is concerned, not nearly as much going on as we've seen the last couple of mornings where we've had scattered rain and heavy rain and some flooding rains in some cases across the state. So really hardly anything outside of a couple of sprinkles down in the southeastern part of the state earlier this morning. But we had the fog, but not much in the way of rain as we start off the morning today. However, over the last couple of days, again, rain totals have been pretty high in some spots, showing 2.5 inches in Coleman, close to an inch in Gadsden, and some of these areas where we don't show an actual report, you can see in the yellows and reds there that those are places that got more than 2, 3, 4 inches of rain. And again, especially down in Baldwin County, where we saw upwards of 6 inches of rain. Gulf Shores itself only showed 2.3 inches over the last couple of days, but there's been some of those spots there in those heavier bands that did get in the 5 or 6 inch rain. However, the story for the next couple of days, showers starting to thin out. Now, again, we'll still expect a few showers and thunderstorms across the state this afternoon, but showers will be thinning out over the next few days. Heat levels on the rise, and we'll continue to keep our eyes on Tropical Storm Erin, and as it's becoming closer to becoming a hurricane over the next day or so. So low temperatures this morning, so not as warm as it was the last couple of mornings. We don't have quite as moist of an air mass in place, so lots of places got down into the 70s, but you do see upper 60s, 68 in Coleman, and actually a couple of our sky watchers, Rick Crouch and Rimlap and Heath Plunkett in Joppa, they got to 68 degrees this morning as well. So a couple of places getting slightly cooler with not quite as of tropical air mass in place. Temperatures right now, however, already starting to warm up into the 80s across the southern tier of the state, 80 in Troy, 82 in Dothan and Geneva, upper 70s still towards the north, but again, expecting to get warmer than the last couple of days as we see this increasing temperature trend. Forecast highs into the 90s again, maybe even as high as 94 degrees, so getting close to the mid-90s in the southern part of the state. And then there still may be some spots up north like Huntsville that only get into the upper 80s. And that's because of this ridge that's building in. So this is taking a look at the upper level pattern. Still have a little bit of a dip right here that is going to help enhance potential chances of showers and thunderstorms for this afternoon. But as we move into the weekend, you can see that this ridge starts to build over to just to our west, but we're almost right in the center of it there. And that's going to be why we will expect those temperatures to rise through the weekend into early next week. As far as the rain chances and cloud cover, again, scattered cloud cover, still peaks of sunshine out there. But again, we expect less coverage of showers and thunderstorms today than what we've seen over the last couple of days. Then things settle down tonight as usual this time of year, and very typical scattered showers and thunderstorms for tomorrow afternoon, scattered in many places across the state. and chances of one spot getting showers and thunderstorms, probably around 40-50% chance as we get into tomorrow. And then as we get into the weekend, again, we expect those to lower even more as we head through the weekend. And again, look at those rainfall chances there. So 60%, 40% as we head through the next couple of days, and then just 20% chance, which is, again, pretty typical summertime pattern as you get warmer and getting under the influence of an upper level ridge. All right, we'll take a quick look at the tropics. Tropical storm Erin looking more healthy at this point. Each day we've looked at it getting healthier and healthier as it's moved further to the west, still moving at a fairly fast clip of at 17 miles per hour. And the latest advisory has the winds estimated at 50 miles per hour. So again, it's looking more and more healthy as it moves into a more conducive environment. And so we expect as we get into tomorrow morning or actually tomorrow morning or afternoon, that it will become a hurricane. And then as we get into early next week, we're expecting a strong Category 3 hurricane moving up along north of Hispaniola, just kind of northeast of the Bahamas. And again, expecting, as you can see here in the cone trend, that this will curve off before it actually hits the U.S. East Coast. Now, again, it may be a somewhat close call depending on how things go, but it's still expecting that it will stay east of the East Coast. And again, it will not be an issue that we have to worry about here for sure. 7-day forecast for North Alabama. So again, upper 80s, low 90s as we get into the weekend, lower rain chances. And we kind of continue that as we get into the early part of next week. And for the southern part of the state, could get into the mid 90s over the next couple of days. So definitely warmer, feeling a little bit more like August for sure as we see those temperatures increase and we see those rain chances on the decrease. All right, that'll do it for your statewide weathercast. We'll have more on the Alabama Weather Network coming up.